Australia Day, 26th of January 2026, and the weather across the nation is doing exactly what you'd expect for this time of year. Tropical rain up north, severe heat building across the southeast, thunderstorm potential through Queensland. It's a land of extremes, and today we re-seeing all of it. Right now across far north Queensland, conditions are wet. Very wet. Darwin S sitting at 38 degrees with high humidity. The build-up is well underway. Brisbane S copping at 38 degrees. This arvo with humidity making it feel even worse. Meanwhile, if you were out west in the Pilbara or the Goldfields, you were dealing with the remnants of tropical cyclone Lana. And down south, the heat S just getting started. Let's talk about what S are happening up north first, because there is a lot going on and some of it S not playing out the way the models suggested. Tropical low 18U, that S, the system that S been sitting over far north Queensland, the models had this one recurving around the Gulf of Carpentaria coastline, then tracking northwest back out to sea. That hasn't happened. This system S deviated off track. It has moved further inland than expected. Right now, it S positioned somewhere between Normanton and Richmond, and because it S tracked further east and southeast than anticipated, the rainfall totals are running higher than forecast across parts of the Cassowary coast and into far north Queensland. Last night, some locations picked up between 150 to 300 millimetres. Pockets of the lower Herbert, parts of the upper Herbert and the Cassowary coast all saw decent falls. This morning, S, no different. Heavy rainfall and thunderstorm activity streaming into the Rolling Stone and Paluma Dam areas. Townsville S in for a wet Australia Day. Quite a few showers and thunderstorms moving through. Cairns will see some activity too, but not as prevalent as what Townsville S dealing with. Here S the concern. You can see rotation in the cloud activity just north of Hughenden and Richmond, and we've got major flooding already ongoing in these areas. The Richmond River, the Flinders River, all flowing out into the Gulf of Carpentaria. These rivers are getting more rainfall this morning. They are likely to get more tomorrow and again on Wednesday. Northwestern Queensland is saturated. The Little Bino River Flood Camera Network tells the story. 3 weeks ago, floodwaters rose nearly to the camera itself, and they re-still there. The water level was dropping at about 30 to 50 centimetres a day over the last week. Last night, 5 centimetres. That's it. The rainfall is already having an impact. The water levels aren't dropping anymore. They re-holding steady or rising in spots. The forecast for northwestern Queensland is grim. Moderate showers and thunderstorms continuing today, picking up tomorrow. This system's reattaching itself to the monsoon trough. When that happens, we're re-looking at an inflow feature that S going to bring shower and thunderstorm activity right through far north Queensland. Moderate to locally heavy rainfall today and tomorrow across the Cassowary coast. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, moderate to locally heavy falls possible through the Daintree area and potentially the Cassowary coast again. It is a day-by-day situation up there. The specifics are difficult to pin down, but grand totals could reach 500 millimetres on top of what's already fallen this long weekend. Some flooding S likely through the Cassowary coast, probably minor if it does occur, but we already saw significant jumps in creek crossings and water levels yesterday. More rain means more flooding potential through northwestern Queensland. It's worth paying attention to. Thursday and Friday, things should ease off. But until then, if you worry up there, keep an eye on the Bureau of Meteorology S flood warnings. Check the river levels. And if it's flooded, forget it. Don't drive through floodwater. Now let's shift down south, because while the North S dealing with too much water, the southeast is about to deal with extreme heat. And here S, where it gets interesting. This heat wave that S building across southeastern Australia is being caused by cold fronts. Sounds ironic, doesn't it? But stick with me. A series of weak cold fronts is forecast to brush the south coast of Australia over the next several days. You can see the pressure dropping as these systems move through. Now, remember how low pressure systems rotate in the southern hemisphere? Clockwise. When you've got a system rotating clockwise along the southern coast, what happens on the northern and eastern side? It drags air in. Hot air from where? The Pilbara region, northwestern Australia. These cold fronts brushing the southern coast are bringing in hot northerly and northwesterly winds. That wind is moving from the northwest down to the southeast. What is southeast of the Pilbara? South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales. That SY we were about to see temperatures climb into the mid to high 40s through parts of South Australia, northwestern Victoria and western New South Wales. Adelaide, you're in for a scorcher, possibly a stinker depending on how these fronts track. Melbourne, you are going to feel it too. The heat builds through the middle of the week. By Wednesday and Thursday, we are looking at temperatures well into the 40s through the Mallee, the Wimmera and parts of the Riverina. Brisbane and southeast Queensland, you not escaping either. Today, temperatures are climbing into the high 30s across the coastal plain. 36 expected for Brisbane, 37 possible in some suburban areas, particularly out towards Ipswich, which may see 38 or even 39 degrees. Out towards the Scenic Rim and the Darling Downs, temperatures could reach the low 40s. Warwick and Toowoomba both expecting 40 degrees. The Bunya area climbing well into the 40s. Now here S, where thunderstorms come into the picture, or Dante come into the picture more accurately. Through southeast Queensland today, thunderstorms are very unlikely. The capping inversion is extremely strong. Think of it like a plug in a drain. When you've got a lot of pressure on that plug, it's very hard to pull off. But if you give it enough force and it breaks, things go nuts. Things gush up. If temperatures can get up to about 41 or 42 degrees across southeast Queensland, particularly on the coastal plain, we'd be seeing some significant pulse thunderstorm activity. Think back to last night's storms. Damaging winds, very intense rainfall over a short period. It to be like that, but on steroids because there's a lot of instability available. But the difference between 38 degrees and 41 degrees is massive. Temperatures are unlikely to get that high. So storms are very unlikely through Brisbane and the Gold Coast today. Further inland, some very short-lived weak pulse thunderstorm activity is possible. Stronger, longer-lived activity into the Rockhampton area, inland from the Capricornia coastline. But I don't expect anything too special. Today, it's just not going to be a significant day for thunderstorm activity across southeast Queensland. However, if things do get going, they'll really pop off. There's bugger all wind shear in the environment, which is unfavourable for sustained storms. So it is not something I am particularly worried about. But it's worth mentioning as a low probability, high impact scenario. Let us talk about the heat in more detail, because what S coming through the middle of the week is significant. This pattern we're re-looking at with these weak cold fronts dragging hot air down from the northwest, it's going to persist through Wednesday and Thursday. That means the heat is going to build and build. South Australia, you're first in line. Northwestern parts of the state could see temperatures pushing into the mid-40s by Tuesday. The Fleurieu Peninsula, the Adelaide Hills, the mid-north, all looking at temperatures in the high 30s to low 40s. Victoria, the heat arrives Wednesday. The Mallee, the Wimmera, northwestern districts, all looking at mid to high 40s. Melbourne itself could reach the high 30s. Possibly low 40s depending on wind direction. If you get a northerly wind, temperatures climb. If the sea breeze kicks in, you get relief. But Don T Bank on the sea breeze. New South Wales, the Riverina and the Western Slopes are going to cop it. Mid-40s likely. Sydney stays a bit cooler due to coastal influence, but you are still looking at mid to high 30s across western suburbs. This is serious heat. Not catastrophic in the Black Saturday sense, but serious enough to cause problems. Heat stress, dehydration, fires. The fire danger rating is going to climb. Total fire bans are likely across multiple districts. If you are in a bushfire-prone area, know your plan, have it ready, check the fire danger rating each day. And on days with catastrophic fire danger, leaving early is the safest option. Don T, stay and defend. For those not in fire-prone areas, the heat is still a concern. Check on elderly neighbours and mates. Keep hydrated. Limit outdoor activity during peak heat. Look after your pets and livestock. If you've got animals, make sure they've got shade and water. Plenty of it. The heat eases Friday and into the weekend as a more significant cold front moves through. But that S still several days away. Wednesday and Thursday are the critical days. Now let's head back west, because while the east is heating up and the north is flooding, Western Australia S dealing with the remnants of tropical cyclone Lana. Lana made landfall just outside Beagle Bay late Saturday night as a Category 2 strength tropical cyclone. Since then, it S tracked inland. Right now, it S south of the Fitzroy River, moving towards the Pilbara-Kimberley border area. And here what S interesting? This system S holding itself together better than expected. strong convection, strong rotation. It still looks relatively healthy for a system that has been over land for more than a day. Why? The brown ocean effect. Exactly what it sounds like. An ocean of brown, an ocean of floodwaters. When you've got thunderstorms dropping extreme rainfall over a very flat location, which much of northern Australia is, it creates that inland sea effect. Big puddles. Lots of bodies of water opening up. This is very common across northwest and Western Australia, and it fuels evaporation, which fuels further thunderstorm development, which keeps tropical cyclones and tropical lows alive longer than they should be once they move over land. The Kimberley S, very flat, particularly the southern Kimberley. Outside Broome, down the Dampier Peninsula into the northern Pilbara, very, very flat. Classic case for the brown ocean effect. This system's weakening, but it's weakening slower than we anticipate. That S, why it's expected to continue dropping significant rainfall through parts of Western Australia over the next couple of days. Some decent falls into the northern goldfields towards the north and northeast of Laverton and west of Warburton. A thin corridor of falls between 50 to 150 millimetres can be expected. It's not expected to impact many people. The system tracks through the Spinifex country, then into southeast and Western Australia, into the Nullarbor area. South Australia S not expecting anything from this system. But locations such as Kunana, Cocklebiddy, Eucla, Rawlinna may see 50, 80, even 120 millimetres. Very isolated in nature. But there could still be some significant falls and some decent flooding out there. If you're retravelling between Laverton up to Warburton or Giles, there's a lot of rainfall expected. That's likely to translate to flooding in places. Travel with caution. Get your travel done today at the latest. And it's going to be very hot out there before and after this rainfall. Keep that in mind. Let's circle back to the bigger picture, because what we're re-seeing today is quintessential Australia Day weather. Tropical rain up north, extreme heat building in the south, possible thunderstorms through Queensland, Western Australia dealing with a tropical system. It's a land of extremes. And today we're re-seeing all of it. Many of you remember past Australia Days, the scorches, the stinkers, the days where you couldn't do anything but sit in the shade with a cold drink. This week's shaping up to be one of those. Not today necessarily. Today S warm but manageable for most. It S Wednesday and Thursday you need to prepare for. If you re in South Australia, Victoria or New South Wales, now S the time to prepare. Stock up on water. Check your air conditioning. If you don't have air conditioning, know where the cool spots are. Shopping centres, libraries, community centres. Don't be a hero in this heat. If it is too hot, get to somewhere cool. For those with livestock, make sure they've got access to shade and water. Troughs filled, shelter available. Heat stress in animals is real and it can happen quickly. For those in fire-prone areas, this is serious. The combination of heat, low humidity and wind creates dangerous fire conditions. We've all seen what can happen. Black Saturday, Ash Wednesday, the Black Summer fires. This one to reach those extremes, but it's worth taking seriously. Check your property, clear dry grass and leaves away from buildings, have your fire plan ready, know your trigger points for leaving. And if the fire danger rating hits catastrophic, don't stay and defend. Leave early. Up in Far North Queensland and northwestern Queensland, you are dealing with a different problem. Too much water, river levels are high, some are already in flood, more rain's coming. Check the Bureau of Meteorology S flood warnings regularly. If you are in a flood-prone area, have your plan ready. Know your evacuation routes. And remember, if it's flooded, forget it. Never drive through flood water. It only takes 60 centimetres of fast-flowing water to wash away a large vehicle. For those in the Cassowary Coast, Townsville, Cairns areas, the rain continues through the week. It's the wet season. This is normal for this time of year. But the totals are running higher than usual. Gardens are saturated. Creeks are full. More rain means more potential for localised flooding. Keep an eye on conditions. And if you've got travel plans through northwestern Queensland, reconsider. Roads could be cut. Conditions could deteriorate quickly. Western Australia, you're not out of the woods yet. The remnants of Lana are still dropping significant rainfall. The northern goldfields, the eastern Pilbara, southeastern parts of the state near the Nullarbor. Isolated but potentially heavy falls. If you are travelling, check road conditions before you go. Some roads may be cut. And the heat S coming for you too. Before and after this rainfall, temperatures are going to climb. Stay safe. Let S talk models for a moment, because there's been some divergence in the forecast guidance this week. The Access model, that S, the Bureau of Meteorology S model, has been fairly consistent with the heat forecast. High confidence in mid-40s temperatures through South Australia and northwestern Victoria Wednesday and Thursday. The European model agrees. The GFS has been a bit cooler, but still showing significant heat. For the tropical systems, the models had tropical low 18U tracking differently than it has. That S, why the rainfall S, ended up heavier across the Cassowary coast than initially forecast. Models aren't perfect. They give us guidance. But observed conditions and real-time adjustments matter. That's why checking the Bureau of Meteorology S updates each day is important. The forecast will refine as we get closer to each event. For Far North Queensland, the models are in reasonable agreement for the next few days. Continued shower and thunderstorm activity through Wednesday, easing Thursday and Friday. But the totals are uncertain. Could be 300 millimetres, could be 500, depends on where the heaviest activity sets up. That is the nature of tropical rainfall. It's concentrated. One location gets hammered, the next valley over stays relatively dry. Check the radar, check the local forecasts, stay informed. For the heat, the models are more confident. This is a synoptic scale pattern. Those weak cold fronts dragging hot air down from the northwest. It's a well-established setup. Confidence is high that we'll see significant heat Wednesday and Thursday. The exact numbers may vary by a degree or two, but we re-talking mid-40s through large areas. That S locked in. Now, a word on fire weather, because with this heat comes fire danger. The Bureau of Meteorology and the various state fire services will be issuing fire danger ratings each day. Those ratings are based on temperature, humidity, wind speed and how dry the vegetation is. When all those factors align, you get extreme or catastrophic fire danger. We're not there yet. Today, S fire danger is elevated in spots, but not extreme. Wednesday and Thursday, that changes. Expect severe to extreme fire danger across much of southeastern Australia. Total fire bans are likely. That means no fires whatsoever, no barbecues, no campfires, no burning off, no outdoor cooking, nothing. If you are in a bushfire-prone area and the fire danger hits catastrophic, do not stay and defend your property. Leaving early is the safest option. Have your plan, know your trigger points, pack your essentials. And if the rating hits catastrophic, go. Don T, wait to see if a fire starts. By then, it may be too late. For those not in fire-prone areas, you can still help. Don T, start fires. Be careful with cigarettes. Don T, mow dry grass in the heat of the day. Sparks from machinery can start fires in these conditions. Use common sense. Let's talk about what comes after the heat. Because this pattern doesn't last forever. By Friday, a more significant cold front moves through southern Australia. Temperatures drop. Melbourne could go from 42 degrees on Thursday to 20 degrees on Saturday. That's a 22-degree drop in 2 days. That kind of temperature whiplash causes problems. People get crook. Flu, headaches, sinus issues. It's not just the heat that is the problem. It S the rapid changes. If you've got elderly family or mates, check on them through this period. The heat S tough. The rapid cool change is tough. Both can cause health issues. Make sure they re-okay. Make sure they rehydrated. Make sure they not overdoing it in the heat. For livestock, the rapid temperature changes are a concern too. Animals struggle to adapt quickly. Make sure they've got shelter from both the heat and any rain that comes with the cool change. Keep water troughs filled. Watch for signs of heat stress even after the temperature drops. That cool change brings relief, but it may also bring storms. When you get a strong cold front moving through after extreme heat, you can get severe thunderstorm activity. damaging winds, large hail, heavy rainfall. The contrast between the hot air ahead of the front and the cold air behind it creates instability. We'll have a better idea of the severe weather potential as we get closer to Friday, but it's something to keep in mind. For now, focus on the heat. Wednesday and Thursday are the critical days. Prepare now. Stock up on water. Check your air conditioning. Know your fire plan. Look after vulnerable people and animals and stay informed. Check the Bureau of Meteorology each day. Conditions can change. Forecasts refine. Stay ahead of it. Up in far north Queensland, focus on the flooding. River levels are high. More rain's coming. Check flood warnings. Know your evacuation routes. Don T drive through floodwater, and if you're in a low-lying area prone to flooding, have your plan ready. Western Australia, focus on the remnants of Lana, isolated heavy falls possible, road closures likely in remote areas, and the heat S coming for you too. Stay safe. This is Australia, a land of extremes, droughts and flooding rains, extreme heat and tropical cyclones. We've seen it all before. Black Saturday, Cyclone Tracy, the 2011 Queensland floods, the Black Summer fires. We know how serious weather can be. We know how to prepare. We know how to look after each other. Today is Australia Day, a day to celebrate what's great about this nation. And part of what makes Australia great is how we come together when things get tough, how we check on our mates, how we help our neighbours, how we prepare for what's coming and face it head on. So enjoy today. It's warm, but it's manageable for most. Get out there, have a barbecue if the fire danger allows. Spend time with family and friends. Celebrate, but keep an eye on what's coming. Wednesday and Thursday bring serious heat. Be prepared, be smart, be safe. That's the forecast. Extreme heat building across southeastern Australia. Continued flooding rain through far north Queensland. Remnants of tropical cyclone Lana tracking across Western Australia. And temperature whiplash coming by the weekend. Stay safe, stay informed, and look